Henry VI is a pious man, but a terrible king who often withdraws completely into catatonic states. When Richard Plantagenet, Duke of York, claims the throne as his, Henry promises to disinherit his son, Edward, and give York the throne on this promise: "Let me, for this my lifetime, reign as king." Richard reneges on his promise, and the battles begin.
Will you restore title to the crown? If not, our swords will plead it on the field.
What title hast thou, traitor, to the crown? Thy father as thou art, Duke of York. Thy grandfather, Roger Mortimer, Earl of March. I am the son of Henry V, who made the Dauphin and the French to stoop and seized upon their towns and provinces.
Talk not of France, since thou hast lost it all.
The Lord Protector lost at work, and not I. When I was crowned, I was but 9 months old. Thinkest thou that I will give up my kingly throne, wherein my grandsire and my father sat? No. First shall war unpeople this my realm. Aye, and their flags often borne in France, and in England, to our heart's great sorrow, shall be my binding sheet. Why lose you hearts, lords? My title is good and better far than his.
Prove it, Henry, and thou shalt be king.
Henry IV, by conquest, got the crown.
'Twas by rebellion against his king.
I know not what to say. My title's weak. Tell me, may not a king adopt an heir?
What then?
And if he may, then am I not lawful king? For Richard, in the view of many lords, resigned the crown to Henry IV, whose heir my father was, and I am his.
Henry rebelled against Richard being his sovereign, and made him resign his crown perforce.
Art thou against us, cousin Exeter?
York is the right, and therefore, pardon me, but my conscience tells me York is lawful king.
Plantagenet, for all the claims thou layest, think not that Henry shall be so deposed.
Deposed he shall be, in despite of all.
Thou art deceived. 'Tis not thy southern power of Essex, Norfolk, Suffolk, nor of Kent, which makes thee thus presumptuous and proud, can set the Duke up in despite of me.
King Henry, be thy title right or wrong, Lord Clifford vows to fight in thy defense. May that ground gape and swallow me alive, where I shall kneel to him who slew my father.
Oh, Clifford, how thy words revive my heart.
Henry of Lancaster, resign thy crown. Do right until this princely Duke of York. I'll fill the house with armed men, and over the chair of state where now thou sits, write up his title with thy usurping blood.
Urge it no more, lest instead of words I send thee, Warwick, such a messenger as shall revenge my father's death before I stir.
My lord Warwick, hear me but one word. Let me for this my lifetime reign as king.
Confirm the crown to me and mine heirs, and thou shalt reign in quiet while thou livest.
I am content, Richard, Duke of York. Enjoy the kingdom after my decease.
What wrong is this unto the son, your prince?
What good is this to England and himself?
Unworthy, fearful, and despairing Henry, how hast thou injured both thyself and us? Let us tell the queen this news. In desperate war may thou be overcome, or live in peace, abandoned in despite.
Be thou a prey unto the house of York, and die in bands for this unmanly deed.
They seek vengeance and therefore will not yield.
Oh, Exeter.
Why should you sign, my lord?
Not for myself, Lord Warwick, but for my son, whom I unnaturally shall disinherit. But Be it as it may, I here entail the crown to thee and thine heirs forever, conditionally, that here thou take an oath to cease this civil war, and whilst I live, to honor me as thy king and sovereign, and neither by treason or hostility seek to put me down and reign thyself.
This oath I willingly take, and will perform. Long live King Henry! Plantagenet, embrace him.
No, no. And long live thou and thy forward sons, Edward, George, and Richard.
So now York and Lancaster are reconciled.
Accursed be he who seeks to make them foes.
Farewell, my gracious lord. I'll to my castle.
And I'll keep London with my soldiers.
And I, with grief and sorrow, to the courts.
Henry!
Queen Margaret makes an appearance in our tense little scene, and what a glorious entrance it is!
Here comes the queen whose look betrays her anger. I'll steal away.
Oh, I said her so will I.
Nay, go not from me, I will follow.
Be patient, gentle queen, and I will stay.
Who can be patient in such extremes? Huh. Wretched man, would I had died a maid, and never seen thee, never borne thee son, seeing thou hast proved so unnatural a father, hath he deserved to lose his birthright thus? Hast thou but loved him half so well as I, or felt that pang which I did for him once, or nourished him as I did with my blood, thou wouldst have left thy dearest heart blood there, rather than have York, that savage duke thine heir, and disinherited thine only son.
Father, you cannot disinherit me. If you, the king, why should not I succeed?
Oh, pardon me, Margaret, pardon me, sweet son. The Earl of Warwick and the Duke enforced me.
Forced thee? Art thou king and wilt be forced? I shame to hear thee speak. Timorous wretch, thou hast undone thyself, thy son, and me, and given unto the house of York such heed as thou shalt reign but by their sufferings. What is it, but to make thy tomb and creep into it far before thy time? Warwick is chancellor and lord of Calais. York is made protector of the realm. And yet shalt thou be safe? Such safety finds the trembling lamb environed with wolves. Had I been there, which am a silly woman, the soldiers should have tossed me on their pikes before I would have granted him that act. Thou preferrest thy life before thine honor, and seeing thou dost, I here divorce myself, both from thy table and thy bed, until that act of Parliament be repealed, whereby my son is disinherited. Thus do I leave thee. Come, son, let's away. Our army is ready.
Stay, gentle Margaret, and hear me
And thou
speak.
hast spoke too much already. Be gone.
Gentle son Edward, thou wilt stay with me?
Aye, to be murdered by his enemies.
When I return with victory from the field, I'll see your grace. Till then, I'll follow her.
Aye, and then I'll leave your house.
Poor queen, how love to me and her son all have made her break out into terms of rage. Revenge may she be on that hateful Duke Richard of York, whose haughty spirit, winged with desire, shall cost me my crown, and like an empty eagle tire on the flesh of me and of my son.
I hope all will be reconciled.